Okay, so we're live at a little bit of a later time, a much later time, nearly 12 hours. We're at 10 p.m. this time, or not 10 p.m., but 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. Man, I can't even speak, but here we are. We're on episode 2. I reel in the neck and just saying that there's little to no data, so therefore it's just going to start buffering. So I do apologize for that in advance. So just let me go ahead and get this sent out, and we'll go ahead and just go from there. Okay, and set, just like that. So welcome to the second edition of the SRX Super Show, where we're going to be reviewing Knoxville, the Knoxville Speedway, Knoxville Raceway event over for the SRX Camping World Series, or the Camping World SRX Series, whichever you want to prefer, and whichever you want to call it, I should mention. So It was, well, what I've seen, I mean, I didn't watch the heats, I just watched the main event. The main event itself was actually, I mean, for what it was, super spectacular. I mean, you saw some good racing up at the front of the field, you know, with Tony Stewart and Scott Bloomquist for a little bit before he had his troubles later in the going. And then you had Michael Waltrip, who actually performed really good. He led a little bit and was actually putting up a good battle with Tony, but then he kind of slipped back a little bit. But it was Tony Stewart who ended up leading 43 out of the 50 laps in the scheduled distance in the second race of the SRX Camping World Series. Let me go ahead and get the official results up on my phone here, because I can actually go through the 12 drivers and who finished where. So you obviously got Stewart the winner. Hailie Deegan, who I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, very impressive run in her first SRX performance, comes home second. Ernie Francis Jr. comes home third. Helio Castroneves fourth. Michael Waltrip, who, as I mentioned, put on a much better performance than what he did back at Stafford. He comes home inside of the top 5. Bobby Labonte completes the first half of the field, the top half. And then you got Marco Andretti, Brian Brown, another one of the locals, Scott Bloomquist, Willie T. Ribbs, Bill, finishing results. So I wanted to briefly touch on this, and I mainly wanted to talk about Hailie Deegan. So Hailie Deegan made her SRX, and with the performance that she had, I was both surprised and not surprised all at the same time. I was not surprised from the standpoint of, you know, we know that she can perform really well on dirt, and we've seen it in the K&N West Series. I mean, she did really good in some of the handful of dirt races that she ran back in a little bit of 2018, and then 2 years ago at Las Vegas, she wound up taking home the win, and that was on a last lap pass, by the way, and that could have very well happened this past Saturday night, but you know, experience kind of played a huge factor in Tony Stewart's favor. Same time, because other than Tony Stewart, she beat some really big names in racing. I mean, you know, you've got Ernie Francis Jr., who was proclaimed as the racing prodigy. You've got Helio Castroneves, who recently came off of his 4th Indianapolis 500 win almost a month ago. A 2-time Daytona 500 champion, Michael Waltrip. A 2000 Cup champion in Bobby Labonte. You know, you've got a good list of drivers who she beat when she came out and played with some of the big boys, some of the legends, the veterans of the sport. And you know, I honestly think that, I mean, if she had won the race, if she had beat Tony Stewart, she would have catapulted her name into like major status. It would have really, 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 really done some good things to her reputation as a racer. So I mean, you know, it goes to show you, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're in your first race. It doesn't matter if you're a veteran or a legend in the sport. Hey, fun. I'm at the same time competitively. So, you know, but for the most part, she does this for fun. So I think that's what really benefits her. Okay. So now let's look and see when the next race is for SRX. Might have to scroll down a little bit for the schedule. And this will take a little bit. Sorry for a brief little wait. Eldora. That was the place. Eldora Speedway. So she's gonna be there. Deegan's not gonna be there. She'll be at Slinger on July 10th. But SRX is going to Eldora next week, this coming Saturday night. So that will be a good race. I mean, that's some pretty decent racing in Knoxville. I think we'll probably see something similar to that at Eldora. If I can't get into some tongue twisters, but either way, it should be pretty interesting. But anyways, driver to win, driver to stay away from, driver who I think is going to be the dark horse. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Driver to win, I think it's pretty simple. He won at Knoxville. He'll do it again. Tony Stewart, my driver to win. I think that's pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He's one of the very best on the dirt. I think he'll continue that run. Driver to stay away from, I think it's really easy to say. Paul Tracy. Tracy is my driver to stay away from. I'm sorry, but the first third of the season for him has just not gone well whatsoever. I mean, you take a look at some of the results that he had. I mean, let's go back to Stafford. At Stafford, he wound up finishing 9th, which is his best finish this year. And then recently, at Knoxville, he finishes dead last. So he's only had one top 10 finish this year, and that was at Stafford, the season opener. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do a little bit better, but then again, we don't know. So one way to find out. Dark horse, however, I'm gonna say Ernie Francis Jr. is my dark horse. It's a tight race between him and Michael Waltrip, because Waltrip actually did pretty impressive. But I'm gonna say Ernie Francis Jr. is my dark horse. So next week, I think I'm just gonna stick with the 8 p.m. starting time for the SRX Super Show once we get down to it. So far, I mean, I think this show might take off a little bit, but I plan on doing this for just 1 year. But then again, you never know. Anything is possible between now and 2022. So we'll see. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys a lot for watching. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you have not